Hello everybody, my name is Pixie People. Oh my god, I'm trying to figure out what to post. I just can't figure it out. But I think this one's the one. What if Deku was Jason Voorhees? And, let's just right into it. So we get into it, yeah. Deku, after Baku has bullied him so much that he actually got a broken arm and leg from Baku, decides to go to summer camp with his Mimi. She doesn't work there, she just decided to stay just in case little boy needed any help. Because she's gonna miss her son, and she doesn't feel like, doing that. Afterwards, then Deku realizes Baku is there, and yeah, he knows the summer camp is gonna suck. And then Deku does get abused more. Eventually, he's like his arm get healed, and still gets his rocked. And then eventually, Deku. Well, after that, Deku just chilling with his mom at the dinner table. That is until he decides to go chill outside. So he goes outside, but Bakugo followed him outside with his goons. So Deku just backs up off the board. He goes through a board, snapping his freaking tendon, which makes him scream in pain. Which Baku didn't hear the crack or Deku getting his leg cut or broken. Explodes Deku into the water, thinking he's just gonna swim out. But Deku doesn't swim up and slowly drowns. And then before Deku closes his eyes turn red with fury, and then he just passes out. But he wakes up on shore and just lives in the forest for a few years, killing bears, bulking up significantly. Then he puts a bandana on, like that covers his whole face. It looks like leather. And is wearing the clothes he was as a kid. Basically no shirt, almost torn pants off. And then Deku walks. We see Deku cut down trees and make a home, chill, and that is until his head. Until Deku goes crazy. Well, because he sensed his mother just died. Yes, Iko also went insane and killed a bunch of teenagers, and was also killed. Which just sets that flaming rage back. So he makes a boat, goes across the boat, then takes the boat. Then the first teenager he sees, he slaps the crap out of them and breaking their entire skull against a freaking cabin. Then afterwards, Deku takes a machete off a wall in the cabin, and then two teenagers that were about to have intercourse. Deku stabs them right through the chest, picks them up, pins them to the freaking ceiling. Then they will fall back down, bleeding out. But the girl tries crawling away, but Deku steps on her foot after stepping in front of her, and then squishing her head like a freaking pumpkin. And the guy just bled out. Then Deku retrieves machete, And then Deku. Well, yeah. Then a couple teenagers try come. A lot of let's say 10 show up. All right, let's explain every single one of them how they died. Deku walks, slits one of their throats, tears one's throat out, throws his machete in another's calf. Then Deku grabs the guy he stabbed him with his machete with, tears off his head, throws it at the kid, which their head explodes. Then Deku takes his machete and throws it to the jeep, stabbing a gas leak, which also lights a flame because metal against metal. Scratch, skip data, boom, and then the rest of them die. And then Deku catches machete, burning his hand, but he still holds onto it. And eventually, he goes into a big cabin, finds two people doing intercourse in two separate rooms, and and then Shigaraki, no, then Deku climbs upstairs, which the first people who are having intercourse. I was the first people having intercourse, of course. First inter, first people to have intercourse, of course. Basically, the guy's already finished, and the girl's also finished. But Deku shows up, throws his machete right in the kid's head, and then grabs the girl, freaking throws her through a window, and then she just freaking snaps her neck. Really bloody neck snap, too. Like it freaking covers the lens if this was a movie. Then Deku grabs. Then Deku grabs his machete, freaking law, like freaking up and down, and then cutting out the guy's brain. Then he sheaths his blade, then exits the room. Then the other ones who are on the couch. Then Deku grabs a book, another book, and another book. That's until Deku grabs the whole freaking shelf, throws it upon them, and then they get crushed to death. Then there's like one hand, like an arm, stretched out. And then Deku jumps off the balcony, making a huge thump, which makes a high guy walk out, and just assuming that. And Deku takes this as an opportunity to do something fun. So he grabs the guy by the throat, which makes him go, and he's like coughing and telling him to let him go. But Deku just gets back into the kitchen, where the weed guy was from, takes a blender. Remember, this is in the exact same time period as when Deku was born. Breaking the entire glass pitcher and then stabbing into the weed guy's head, killing him instantly. But Deku thought he'd have fun, so he turned on the blades and then makes the guy's head into a freaking smoothie. Then kills him. Then, of course, that kills him. And then Deku actually takes out the blending machine out of the guy's head. Then unplugs. The thing as like a rope. And then there's these two people making out. Deku throws the freaking thing like a lasso, like he's spinning it, throws it, and stabs the guy in the head. Then coughing blood into the girl's mouth, and she coughs out the blood, then vomits, and then Deku shows up with his machete and cuts her head off. fast, like real fast. Like he like sprints up and cuts her head off while she's vomiting. She's bending over while vomiting, if you're wondering. Then Deku, after bodying, finally finds a girl holding a cross and holding a gun. She shoots him. He eats the bullet. Then still holding his blade, then reflects a bullet into the girl's skull. How are we doing on time? Yeah, I'm just explaining Deku murdering people, so. That is Jason Voorhees. Then he finds two people trying to escape with a car. So, he takes a shortcut, then takes out a huge branch, chops it down with one swing with his machete, actually breaking the machete completely. Then Deku pushes over actually picks it up, and then Deku, after pushing over the tree, they crash into it, one goes flying out, but Deku catches the guy midair, and then freaking does that. He just picks him up, breaks his back, then grabs the guy's tummy, stabs into him, and then blows him in half. You know, like grabbing him in half and throwing him in half. Y'all are dirty-minded. And then the girl is already dead. She got her head stabbed through by one of the branches. And then Deku just leaves. After killing all the teenagers, or so he assumes. That is until he gets one of his fingers shot off. So he looks over to see no other but the horn girl. You know the horn girl who has like a horn quirk. By the way, if you're wondering why none of them use their quirks, all their quirks were really useless. Like they only gave them like mild strength enhancements, intelligent quirks, telekinesis that barely worked, and that's it. They really had really weak quirks. That's why they weren't really doing them, because they knew they just wouldn't work. Then Deku. Then Deku. 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 Okay. The Horn Girl actually uses her quirk, stabbing into Deku, which, you know, hurts. Deku kind of forgets how quirks work, because he's pretty old now. Then he gets pierced in the arm, lifted up, and stabbed multiple times. Remember, this is human Jason, not, you know, reanimated Jason. Reanimated Jason is God tier. I'm kidding. He destroyed everyone because, you know, he can teleport. This one can, so. Then the Horn Girl throws one into Deku's head, but he bites down on it, snapping it, then spitting it back at her, hitting her in the knee, sitting her down. What Deku can't really then falls out of the sky, dropping all the things out of his horns. Then Deku starts walking slowly, picking up an axe, like the fire axe. Then picks up the axe, slowly lifting it, and then he gets then he then he just drops the axe and falls over dead. He really tried, but he just couldn't get it. He did get the axe stabbed in the back of his back. And afterwards, the girl just thinks it's a done deal and tries to leave. That's when a metal rod that was really flimsy, and the girl noticed that, flings off and stabs into Deku's head. She doesn't notice and leaves. She's safe and decides to move again. And during the police investigation, after a lot of people died, a lightning strike happens. Spooks everyone, but it only hits one corpse that has head, something shoved through its head. Yeah, it's Deku. He gets up, takes the thing out of his head, then the axe out of his back, then spins it, throws into one cop, throws into another, runs up on one, and then just snap snaps his jaw off and stabs him with the jaw in his head, stabbing him through the head and then throwing him into the lake. Like he throws him, like heavy throw. And then Deku just starts walking off, keeping the axe in his hand. Well, that's where I'm gonna leave things right now. See y'all later. Bye bye. I'm kidding. But subscribe, hit the post notification bell. Hope you like this thing. It was basically just me explaining Jason origins, but Deku and quirks. We'll see y'all.